or can't be live with us. But basically kind of the outline for tonight is we are going to go over like everything that you need to know about charting. We're going to start with Ruby, and then we're going to look at Diamond because every single one of you guys are going Diamond or above. And then we're going to just talk about promoting in general and how you really do that and what your business should look like if you're wanting to promote to any rank. So that's kind of what our outline is going to be. And then we are going to do questions. So, okay. Stephanie is going to start it off, and she's going to go over Ruby. And can you share your screen? Yeah. Or I have a Ruby chart up.
Yeah, I pulled it up, and I should be able to since I'm a co-host.
Okay.
I think anybody can actually, but let me see.
I think so too. Okay.
Okay. So, hey guys, good to see you. I miss our team calls. It's fun seeing everybody's faces. Okay, so let me see if I can find this really quick. Okay. So are you guys all seeing the Ruby chart? I just pulled it up on Pinterest. So it's obviously in our document library, but I, a lot of times, will just Google charts, or obviously it's on Pinterest, and you can basically find charts anywhere. So for every rank, it starts getting a little harder to find once you go like double diamond and above, but for sure diamond and anything below diamond, you can easily find like anywhere on the internet. Okay, so here is you. Can you guys see my mouse too? Like my cursor, my finger? Shanna, okay. Okay, so this is the Ruby chart. And so just looking at a little bit of it, for any of you who are brand new and are just getting started, obviously this is kind of your first like big goal, but part of that big goal your first promotion would actually be going executive. So imagine you are this green box and you have 2 friends who join the business with you. So say like your sister and your best friend both join the business with you. And for you to go executive would mean that each of them, so your sister and your best friend, would each have 400 BV. See how it says under these boxes like 400 right here? But yours does not say that, right? Like in this executive box. So any box that has a rank, so like this says executive, in this chart where it says you would be the Ruby, right? Those do not have to be at 400. Those need to be commission qualified. So again, commission qualified means either running your 80 BV auto ship or having 150 BV, so personal BV, which means actual customers under just you. Down here, these 400 boxes, that can be group volume. So say your best friend has her sister join her. So like maybe there's like another box here too. And just stay with me. So your best friend has maybe 200 in sales under her, so 200 customer orders. And then like her friend or her sister has 200 in customer sales under her. Together they make 400. So that would be 400 for, so it can be just one person has 400. It could be 6 people, but they'd all be like under this person right here. It just all has to add up to 400. So when you have, and what we do, we call these legs. So for executive, when you have 2 legs and each of those people has 400 in group volume under them, you would promote to executive. And that's again, assuming that you are commission qualified. So you would need to have either run your auto ship or have 150 in personal sales. So that's the very first promotion in the company. And so if you are brand new and you are working towards your Ruby bonus and working towards Ruby, and I will tell you that Ruby is just such an amazing, pregnancy. Ruby is such an amazing rank to get to, because I think that's where you just really see how life-changing this is, because an extra $500 per month. And I mean, I ranged anywhere from like $400 to $800 just when I was Ruby. Like that extra money is amazing. So go for Ruby for sure when you're first getting started, and you want to get that bonus too. But your first step is to go executive, or to at least have a couple of friends join the business with you. So now let's kind of look at Ruby. So now we'll go back to you being you. And now one of the friends, so now you've had 3 friends, you have 3 legs. So say your best friend, your sister, your cousin maybe, or an old coworker. You have 3 friends who've joined your team, and one of them has really taken off. Her business is growing. Her best friend and her sister joined her. You know, they are getting customer orders in. Things are going great. So this person would become your executive. So what I was just explaining to you about you going executive, that would be like what your friend would do. And then you would have 2 other people on your team who just need to be at 400. So hopefully this is making sense. Now, again, this person over here might have had a few of her friends join, but maybe all of them together just add up to 400 or 500. And so all together, that would be one qualified leg. So 400 in group volume is considered a qualified leg. These people, okay, we always expect our team to be commission qualified every month. That is what we teach our new teammates. That is what we, really expect from people. But that being said, these gray boxes, they do not have to be commission qualified. They just need 400 in group volume under them somewhere. The green, you and the green box, this executive person, have to be commission qualified. Any questions? I hope I'm being clear enough. Hold on, let me open my chat and see. Okay, that might be a question for later. So, yeah, I mean, well, and to kind of cover that shortly right now. So say you have 3 friends join your business, and right now, since we have this Ruby bonus going on, because I think when I joined this business, I know like when Shanna was kind of coaching me and guiding me along, we always would say you build across. So you would keep building across your top line until at least you kind of get to like 4 or 5, because a lot of us, like our husband or significant other is our 5th leg for going diamond, and Shanna's going to go into that more. But so previous to the $500 Ruby bonus, when someone was signing up their 4th distributor, I would have said, oh, put it on your top line. Now I might have someone kind of stop and think about if they have a person they could help out with getting to executive, because the quicker you can get to Ruby, obviously you're going to get that bonus. And so you can place all 5 of these people. You could sign all 5 of them up. You could, but I mean, you have to sign up the first 3, obviously. But then, if you're signing up more, you can either put them on your top line and kind of see what happens. You can put them down here. That's kind of up to you. But hopefully, just that basic chart makes sense. Shanna, do you have anything to add? Do I need to cover anything else about Ruby?
I don't think so. I mean, it's pretty simple once you really start looking at the chart. I think that you did a good job.
Okay, let me see. Okay, I think Tina's questions are still kind of more for later.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really when you're first getting started, I mean, look at this. Like, so bare minimum, you just need 3 friends to join the business with you. Well, and I say friend, but it can be an acquaintance. I mean, my first few people that joined my team were not like my best friends. Some were kind of people that I knew back in college or high school, people that I sort of just reached out to with a message saying, hey, I just started this business. Do you want to hear about it? So it could literally be someone you just meet on the street or like at library story time. But you start kind of thinking about who these people could be. Because I think the more you really think about who it could be, the more you will realize that you have more options than you think you do. Because a lot of people will say, like, I don't know 3 or 5, like, I don't know 5 people who'd want to join the business. And when I joined, I would have told you I knew 0 people who would want to join the business with me. And very quickly, I realized I was wrong about that. And there's so many more people who want to join this business. There are just so many people who need an extra $500 per month. And you'd be so surprised. And it wasn't until I started kind of sharing my excitement and sharing why I joined that friends were like, well, I could use $500 a month too. And, even people that I thought were like really well off, or their husbands had amazing jobs, or they worked part-time, or whatever, like people that I wouldn't have thought maybe needed the money. Some of them were like, yes, I would love to know more. Like, tell me more about this. So don't limit yourself and just start really brainstorming who could be in those boxes. And the more you kind of think and dwell on those people and are intentional about your interactions with them, it's just funny. Like, I had a list of all these people that I thought would be amazing at this, or people that I would love to do it with. And 2.5 years later, almost every single person on that list has joined my team. So I think that, you kind of like speak it into reality. Like, the more you think on it, and the more you talk about it, the more that you focus on those people and think about them, then they actually do end up joining your business with you. Okay, I'm going to stop. Okay, I'm going to stop screen sharing. I don't see any questions about Ruby. So if you guys have them, put them in the chat.
If you have them, we will go over every single question that you have. So just keep shooting them at us, and we will make sure that we go over everything. Yeah. Now I have to figure out how to screen share. Here we go. Okay, so what I'm going to start talking about is Diamond, because the very first chart I ever printed out before I ever even had one distributor was my Diamond chart. And I just started dreaming about Diamond because I knew that that's where I wanted to go. And I had it pulled up, and now it's like gone. Okay, so you guys are going to have to tell me if you can see. Can you see this? Can you see it?
Yeah, on mine, it's really big. Can you zoom out at all? Or like make it a little bit?
I'm sure I can. I am sure I can. Is this better?
Oh yeah, that's getting better. Yeah, that's great.
Okay. So I basically want to go over Diamond and the main reason that you want to go Diamond. Whenever I was very first starting, I felt like every time I went to a meeting, every time I was on a training, anything, I was learning about Diamond. I mean, I definitely learned about Ruby, but I felt like people were really talking about like why you need to go Diamond. So that's why we're kind of highlighting that tonight. So even if you literally do not even have one distributor, if your dream is to make about $2,000 extra per month, then I want you to dream of being Diamond. And I want you to get there. So personally, I would go ahead and print this chart out, because you'll be shocked at how fast you can fill it out whenever you are really visualizing it and whenever you're really going after it. It starts to just kind of like happen. So basically you can see, Stephanie just talked about Ruby. And I think right away, hopefully you can kind of point out that there are 3 rubies in a diamond chart. So the main thing that builds your business, and this is on up to Ambassador Diamond, are rubies. So you're always trying to go ruby yourself and then trying to help every single person that you signed up go ruby. So say you signed up your 3 friends and then one of them is already executive. You're going to help those 3 friends hopefully go ruby. And then you basically almost have your whole entire diamond chart filled out. So basically say this is an ideal situation. Okay, so say you just went ruby, right? So this emerald right here would have been maybe your executive. And so then the 2 people underneath that executive, you know, you help them go ruby. You help every single person in your downline try to go ruby, attempt to go ruby. And then that person, they're trying to go diamond too, so they have, you know, their 2 extra.
God, leave me alone.
And then, so say this is one of your other people that was on your top line, and then they also go ruby, or you help them go ruby, or however it happens. Like you're kind of like, everybody is working together to get really wealthy with this. Okay, so it's okay to be helping people. It's okay if they're just doing it on their own. Like everything is awesome. So, and everything is totally, you know, just how everybody works their business. So, okay, so that's an ideal situation. So you're basically, your executive would be running for their diamond spot, and so they would be going to emerald. And then one of your people would be, you know, going to ruby. And then maybe one of your people just never did anything really, except for they got some customers. And then you have maybe 2 kind of newer people. So maybe they just haven't gotten a chance to do too much on your top, or maybe one is your husband, like what Stephanie was talking about. And all of these gray boxes, they're just 400 group volume. So like what Stephanie was talking about, they don't really have to do too much except for getting customers. But say this person right here, they signed 1 person. All of this person's group volume and all of this, the person underneath them's group volume, counts toward that 400. So it's okay if you have extra. It's okay. You know, some people are like, oh, that's not where I want that person to be. I don't need that distributor there. You need distributors anywhere that you get distributors. So don't worry about where people are building. Just be super thankful, you know, like if anybody joins your team. And then, okay, so then the other thing to remember, and Stephanie went over this too, is anything that's highlighted in a color, they don't need to be at 400. They just need to be commission qualified. So this is, the executives are just commission qualified, the ruby spots are just commission qualified, and then the emerald is just commission qualified. And right now, so on this chart is 24 people. And I remember vividly, okay, because I had this chart everywhere I went. You know, I was always like looking at this chart, even though I only had, you know, 2 or 3 people on it. Well, and then all of a sudden, I remember having like 2 or 3 people, and then all of a sudden I had 12. And I remember thinking, I cannot believe I have 12 people on my chart. And then I had 14. And then, you know, it just kind of keeps going. And all I was doing is exactly what Stephanie was talking about. I was visualizing who I wanted on here. I was talking to those people, and I was the exact same way. I told Brienne, who's the one who she signed me up, I told her, absolutely, I know 0 people who will join with me, but I'm going to give this a try because I see people making money, and I thought I wanted to at least try it. But it was really interesting that I would ask people, and I'm not saying that they just signed up automatically, but it was that they were interested, you know, and so we would meet up and and they would end up getting started. It was crazy. Also, I would invite them to things. So if there's ever a one team, one mission in your area, I invited people all the time to those. I feel like that's how I signed up at least my first 4 or 5 distributors, was just inviting them to events, and then I didn't really have to do anything. They kind of, then the people doing the events did it for me, or an online party, anything. Okay, so the ins and outs of diamond, like that's how your chart looks. And then the reason that you absolutely want to go diamond is the way that Lori Conway always used to describe it, and I don't know why it just stuck with me, was it's your license to print money. Okay, so after you go diamond, you start earning you start earning a lot of additional bonuses because you're considered a leader then. You're a diamond leader. So they're rewarding you for getting there. They're rewarding you for being a leader in the business. So you get a lot of other bonuses, but one very lucrative one is called the diamond bonuses, or CAB bonuses is what a lot of us call them. And that means that once you start signing up distributors past diamond, so you're already your diamond, and then you sign up one person, okay? So it didn't happen this way. Stephanie happened to be my last person to go diamond, or one of my last people to go diamond. But if I would have signed her up right after I went diamond, and then she is now a triple diamond, for every single person that she signed up, and she got Fast Start qualified, I would earn $80 bonus just because she got Fast Start qualified, plus my $100 Fast Start bonus because I'm her personal enroller. But then right away, she signed up 3 or 4 distributors. I didn't sign those people up. She signed them up, but then they all got Fast Start qualified, and I would have earned $80 on each and every single one of those people, on down until she becomes diamond. But then what's beautiful about it is it's also every single person underneath her that becomes diamond. So say one of her people, they also start kind of taking off. For every single person that they enroll, if they get Fast Start qualified in their first 30 days, you're going to earn $80. So it's 80, 80, 80, 80 over and over and over again. And it can make your check absolutely explode. And that's for every single person that you sign up after diamond. And they just get bigger and bigger and bigger the more you promote. So it's hard to even fathom. I mean, that's why sometimes you'll see people post that they got like a $5,000 raise in a month kind of thing. And it's usually cabs because they had some, great cab explosion. So if you're not seeing a $5,000 raise whenever you're Ruby, that's why, because you need to be earning those cabs. So that's kind of why another reason that we wanted to talk about diamond, because I feel like some people get super stuck on Ruby. And I did the same thing. It took me a really long time to go Ruby. It took me like, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 months. I don't even know. But I feel like I was always thinking past that to diamond. I feel like you should never get stuck on, I'm going to go Ruby and I'm going to stay there. It should always be like looking past that. And then also, especially, some of you guys are brand new, and that's awesome. And so you can still get your Ruby bonus. But if you happen to miss your Ruby bonus, that is in no way, shape, or form the end of your business. It's not even close. It's just starting your business. I had 2 distributors by my, Ruby bonus mark, which we didn't have the Ruby bonus, but if I would have been going for it, I had 2 distributors and I was working really hard. But at the first of your business, sometimes it can be a little bit slower, and that's totally fine. Hopefully it's not. Hopefully it's just exploding. But if it just happens to be like, wow, I did not get that $500 bonus, neither Stephanie or I would have gotten our bonus. Brian would have not gotten her bonus. I mean, there's so many people that would not have gotten that Ruby bonus, and it's totally fine. We also know a lot of people who would have. It's just kind of your business, but don't make that your, can you guys still hear me? It just popped up some warning that nobody can. Okay. So always look past Ruby, and always look past also your first few months. You know, like those don't define your entire business. Whenever I very first started, a lot of you guys have seen, you know, the training that I used to do. But whenever I very first started, I had myself pegged in my first 60 days. And I was like, that's going to determine how successful I am in this entire business. But it wasn't until I got, you know, basically went to a meeting and saw how people had thought long-term and thought about this business as a business and in a long-term way. And they were so successful at it because of that. And they didn't let any timeline get in their way. And that's whenever I changed my mindset and went from, okay, I'm going to, you know, either be successful or not in 60 days, which is what a lot of people are doing with this Ruby bonus, to, you know what, I'm just going to do it. You know, it doesn't matter how long it takes me. If it takes me 9 years to go Ambassador Diamond, who cares? Like, that's still a ton of money and in a relatively short amount of time that I would be making it. Okay, so that's Diamond. Let me look at, okay, I don't know how you went back to your questions whenever you did that, Stephanie, but I'm going to stop screen sharing.
Oh, at the top of the screen, there was an option for me. Like it said more, maybe.
Okay, I see it. It might be showing everybody right now since I'm recording. I have no idea. Okay.
No.
So Tina, you have a really good question because, so Tina says, do you continue to move people under people not working their own businesses? Honestly, how many DTs do you really need to go Diamond? For instance, I had 44 and could not promote. Is there a pattern that helps? And yes. Okay, so whenever I went Diamond, I had 24. Exactly. I had exactly the chart. And it's because of how my business happened to be going at that time. And I don't even remember how, you might be able to share, Stephanie, how many exactly you had, but it was because, and actually it might have been a little bit more on my Emerald side because my Emerald was trying to go Diamond at the same time I was. But I know, like, on my Ruby leg in my 4 boxes or my 3 boxes, it was exact. And it was because of the momentum of my business at the time. So a lot of it depends on kind of if you can just kind of keep the momentum up. What I found is if you say sign up 5 people and then literally you don't do anything for, and I'm not saying you did this, Tina, but I'm just saying if you don't, or if those people don't, then it's almost like you never really signed up that Ruby, which is kind of a weird way to think about it. But it's almost like things kind of go in cycles and you always need freshness and newness coming into your business. So it just happened to be when I was signing up those people, that's whenever they were actually getting their customers. And that was whenever I actually needed them to get customers. And the girl who was trying to go Diamond under me, you know, she was obviously trying to go Emerald too. And so that really worked out because she was taking care of a lot. I mean, we were all doing parties together and really working together, but she was doing a lot of trying to get customers and stuff too. And then the Ruby was more, you know, I was trying to put that together. It was actually my mom that was my Ruby. And so I was trying to kind of more work with each individual person underneath there and kind of do their launch parties, get their customers. But it just happened to all mesh together. And it was because of when I was signing those people up. You know, I hadn't signed any of those people up long enough ago to where they were just totally, you know, not talking to me or, you know, kind of had totally fallen off. But here's another example though. I have tried to build my husband to Diamond 2 or 3 times and it never works. And I think it's because I need, like, I think it's because of the timeline somehow of it. It just keeps on not working out. I have gotten him to Diamond, but then he didn't maintain it very well. And I think it's because, and so he has I mean, he has a lot of distributors under him, like probably 80. So it's not like it happens automatically. You definitely need people working with you, and you definitely need people who want it as much as you do. But you do find those people. You do find them. I didn't believe I would find them, but you definitely do find them. And I know, Tina, you have some people under there. I think that like your particular, it was like you had a Ruby, and then it took a while to get like some other people that were super motivated. And by the time that you did, that Ruby was never gonna, it just like those people were not gonna do anything. And so then the customers that they got, and so then you start having to kind of replace them. But it definitely happens. You just need somebody who wants to go Ruby. You just want somebody who, is super excited about going diamond or above to be your emerald. And then you need yourself working on your 400 boxes and kind of filling in the blanks.
Can I say something really quick, Shanna?
Yeah, definitely.
So I think when it comes to building, there's lots of different ways to build. And I actually asked Pam Souter this on like a leader call at our Atlanta retreat. And, there have been leaders in the past who have built more like across their top line and didn't kind of build people. They kept their distributors to themselves. And, for some people that has worked. However, just from like talking to other top leaders in the company, and when I kind of really like grilled Pam, because after Pam gave me that answer, I was sort of like, I don't know. I just don't know if that's the right answer. Like, really? I kind of like called her out on it. And then she said, and then she's like, well, what I told my daughter, or what my daughter does, which is Kay Souter, who's an ambassador diamond, is what I've heard from most top earners like Jade Hooper and Brienne and like a lot of the people that I've looked up to in my business, is that they do build for promotion. So they're not just putting everybody on their top line. They are building down, and they're building, so you would look at your top line and you'd say, okay, who maybe has the most promise or who seems the most excited, and then build them to executive. And then if you get more distributors coming in, you help them get to Ruby, or, so you do build down and put distributors under people. And so then you have to work really hard at kind of coaching and helping those people that you're building become leaders, because what Pam sort of called my attention to, because I kind of had similar questions, Tina, like, gosh, I have all these people on my team who are rubies or diamonds or, whatever. And she's like, well, did you build them to Ruby, or did they build themselves to Ruby? Or how much were they doing? How much were you doing? And, and so if you're a strong recruiter, it definitely benefits you to build down, like build for promoting. However, those people that you're building into those emerald spots, ruby spots, executive spots, you're kind of asking them to rise to a leadership role before maybe their business or before they emotionally are kind of ready to. So you either have to just work super hard with them, coaching them, and really still kind of being the go-to person for all those people that you're placing under. And so I do think that you see a little bit more falling off, I guess, sometimes, like distributors dropping off when, it's not like this person has signed up their best friend and their sister. Like a best friend and a sister probably aren't going to quit the business really soon because they've joined with their good friend or their sister. And when you are building your like a team, you're building a Ruby, those people don't even know each other. So you have to do a really good job of creating connections and coaching them. And hopefully that's making some sense. So like what I coach for my team for sure is to build for promoting. So, to help out your teammates, all work together. Don't just keep them all on your top line, because that would, in my opinion, take like years for you to ever promote. So if you want to promote fast, you want to chart, you want to build your team like for promoting, but then just know that you're going to have to really work with those little clusters that you're building. Otherwise it will kind of all fall apart because, like that person didn't build themselves to Ruby. So they didn't put in the blood, sweat, and tears, to kind of get there. And hopefully that's making sense. I don't know, Shanna, if that.
Well, the other thing is that whenever you place people underneath people and they're not the enroller, they don't make as much money on that either. And so some people, like I've had people be like, whoa, why is my check only like $200 when I'm Ruby and it should be $500? It's like, well, you didn't enroll any of those people and you're not getting bonuses on any of those people. And so it always benefits people. I feel like it always benefits people. And I always even tell people that you would always rather build yourself. So even if you are building yourself, people, I always tell them like, this is not going to make you a millionaire. I'm just very real with them. It is never going to be in your best benefit for me to just sit there and put 1 million distributors on, and I wouldn't do it anyway. But it will always benefit your business. It's set up that way. That's how our compensation plan is set up. And that's how a whole network market, it has to be set up that way to be just a normal legal business, that it benefits the person that's working the hardest more than somebody who isn't doing anything. So that, and also like along with what Stephanie said, you might end up, it's not as much people falling off as you find somebody who is working and it might become like your new Ruby, or you find somebody who does want it. And maybe, okay, so here's an example. Like maybe this girl, her name was Jennifer, here in this Ruby spot, and she just, or maybe it was your mom. This is a really good example. This is a real example. So this was my mom, right? I had a girl named Melinda in this executive spot. And then I had a girl named, oh man, I'm going to forget. Brenna? I don't remember who was here. Destiny. Okay, so those were my 3 people up here. Then whenever I was going diamond, I happened to sign up Stephanie and I put her right here. And then I don't remember. And then I don't remember who was here. Actually, I think her name was, these are like my friends, but I don't remember because they're not there anymore. So that's a really good example of like literally these 3 people, even though I coached them, I had parties with them, like they got customers. It wasn't like they didn't try, but just 2 years later now, they're not here anymore. My mom is still kind of here, but she never did anything. But Stephanie right here went triple diamond. So for my double diamond and for my triple diamond, she became a completely different thing than a 400 box. And that's fine. That's what you want. That's awesome. It's great that the compensation plan works like that. So when she went Ruby, I used her in my double diamond chart. When she went, actually, Crystal, are you on here? You were somewhere right here too. You're under here too. Anyway, so then Stephanie went, when she went diamond, I used her as a diamond for my triple diamond. So it just works out really well. You don't have to necessarily have every single one of these people working. So they set it up like that. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to be successful. You just have to work with the people who are working. So obviously Stephanie and I worked super close together. We started doing trainings together and making sure that her team was taking off and doing parties together and running our page together, because I saw that she was a strong leader. So I basically ran with her instead of sitting here trying to remember these people's names, obviously, and, just really, try to revive these people whenever they obviously didn't want it. They had the exact same opportunity as anybody else, and they just didn't feel like doing it. Okay, so hopefully that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, I think there were several people that asked something similar, and that's I'm glad that you touched on that, because I do think that just talking about like replacing distributors, whatever, instead of looking at it like that, I think you should just look for your leaders, look for the people who are actually working their business, posting on social media, having parties, out doing things, and then see what you can do to help them promote, because they are already a natural leader. They are already working their business. It's not someone you're going to be kind of dragging along, like building them, and maybe they're not really a Ruby, but you have someone 3 levels down who is like well on their way to being Ruby. It makes so much more sense for you just to help that person get to Ruby instead of trying to rebuild something that maybe people have dropped off here and there or whatever, so you just work with your workers. And that's a lot of these tips we're giving right now are for people maybe who've been in the business for a little while, or have, charted to diamond, or are almost to diamond, and things, you might have a little weak spot in your team and you're working on strengthening it. So if you're brand new, it's okay if this is kind of like a little bit over your head. You won't have to know any of this stuff for a while, but definitely look for those leaders and just run with them and work really hard with them.
And a big takeaway is just knowing that you're going to find them. So don't let any of this also be like, whoa, this is kind of scary or anything like that. Like, it's actually really exciting, because when you find the people that you're going to run with and that are going to, basically become successful with you, it is so fun. So just look forward to that, and just know that it will happen for you. Okay, so right now, the question, I think we've pretty much gone over most of the questions. There's one other question we'll get to at the very end, but now we're going to kind of switch gears to like how to chart to how to promote. Like, what does your business look like when you're actually going to promote? And it's kind of funny that we were going to do this training, and I happened to watch a video that was all about promoting, like basically how to promote, from one of our top leaders. Her name is Christina Watts. And if you have not seen her or followed her, you should get on her Facebook, because like what she does is to me, it's amazing. I still sit here, even though she's literally spelled it out, told us exactly how she does it. It still amazes me. I feel like she's come up with a really good system. It's very streamlined, and she really, really gets the job done. I don't think she's even been around for very long. I think she's kind of an up-and-comer, but I think she will be a black diamond. She's on her way there. And what she said is kind of what we were just talking about. So her very first point of like how to promote and how to make sure that your team is really strong is that so I know that there are a lot of people on here. I know that there are a few that are brand new and you've never signed a distributor, but I also know that there are a few on here that you've signed like 3 people. And you've even like messaged me and said, why are these people not doing anything? And everybody has that question. I had that same question. My first 10 people didn't do anything. Like Anne, Stephanie said something about, your best friend and your sister and things like that. Mine were my best friend and my cousin and, people who I thought would be kind of with me for the long haul. And they weren't. They really didn't do very much. But I kept thinking, oh, if she just does something one day, then my life will be so great. But honestly, you just cannot wait for that person. If you want to go ahead and promote, then you have to go ahead and promote. So basically what she says is that you never sit with the sitters. You run with the runners, you walk with the walkers, but you never sit with the sitters. And I see a lot of people who I can tell want this, but they're sitting with the sitters. They're literally sitting there waiting for the person that they signed up with, or they signed up a few months ago who never really did anything to do something. Or I've also seen people get stuck on, I've talked to one person and that one person seems kind of interested and they haven't signed up yet, but I know they're going to sign up. And then they get kind of stuck on, is that person, like maybe that person will sign up and then my life will change. I would still be waiting for some people if I had that mentality, because I had people, you know, in my first few months that were kind of interested, but they never actually ended up signing up. But I had people who did sign up. But if I would have just waited for that one other person and never talked to new people and never met new people and never made new friends on Facebook and never expanded my social media, then I would still be waiting for that one person, and I would not have been able to expand my business the way that I have. So I just thought that was a really good point. So whenever you're promoting, yes, you fill in. Basically, what I always say to do is fill in all of these boxes, or fill in your Ruby boxes, fill in whatever boxes you need, because then you know it's possible. Then you know it can happen. But then after that, what you want to do, you have the luxury then of basically looking at who's running, who's walking, who's running, and then who's sitting there. You get the luxury of analyzing your business to where you can actually, you know, figure out who to work with really, you know, who really wants to go Ruby. And maybe it's not the original person that you charted Ruby. It's totally fine. Or even the executive in your Ruby. So, okay, and then the other thing is, okay, this is gonna, I mean, be kind of crazy. You guys might already know this, but I mean, honestly, last month, she signed up 35 distributors. And I didn't do that. I mean, I don't think Stephanie did. A lot of people don't do that, and that's totally fine. If you don't, hold on. But what she was saying is she focuses so much on enrollment, because what she always remembers is that we are paid not to be bosses, not to remind people how to make money with this, not to remind people to work their businesses. We are paid to enroll customers, enroll distributors. Like, that's how you get paid in this. You don't get paid in trying to force somebody to work their business, or trying to force somebody who doesn't want to sign up. You get paid whenever somebody, you know, buys something from you, or whenever a distributor signs up and then they sign up customers. And of course that's simple to think about, but I think a lot of people, and I was the exact same way, and even now sometimes I think the same thing. I don't understand why people sign up and then don't really do too much. And so it kind of boggles my mind a little bit. So I sit here and think, okay, well, maybe if I just say this one message, or maybe if they get on this one training, and maybe that will happen, but it's still, you can't hope for that or wish for that. Well, I guess you can hope for it, but you can't wait for it. Okay, that's a better word. You can't wait for that to happen, because it might not. So basically what you want to do is find people, like newer people who, you know, maybe do want to do this. And then the other thing that she said, and I think that you guys are all people who we can definitely say this about, is that nobody has to remind you to work your business. Nobody has to remind you to post on Facebook. Nobody has to remind you to message people. Nobody has to remind you to figure out what promotions are going on, or to check our pages to make sure that you know what parties are going on and things like that. Nobody ever had to tell me any of that. And it wasn't like Brianne wasn't a great mentor. She was, but I was learning all that. Like, I wanted this. I wanted to know that. I wanted to know how to do everything. And I also wanted to sign people up. So that's what I was focusing on. And Brianne never had to tell me, like, hey, get on and check our page so that you know what's going on. I mean, I was checking it every single day to make sure that I wasn't missing anything. And I still check it, you know, all the time to make sure. So I just thought that was a really good reminder. And I think that's also really good, even knowledge for brand new people, that what your role in this is not necessarily, it's definitely not a boss, and it's definitely not a babysitter. It's an enroller. They pay us to advertise. You know, they've done a lot of the legwork, and we're the advertiser. We are the people who actually get the sales. So that's where our money is going to be. Okay, so I also wanted to touch on the other big thing that she said that I think is just so key to promoting is that you have to be super laser focused on your business, not on other people's businesses, not on scrolling through Facebook, not on anything except for literally your business. And especially if you're pressed for time. And I know so many people on here that are, you know, working full-time, working part-time, or have a ton of kids or whatever it might be. I don't think anybody on here is sitting here saying, whoa, I have so much time, I don't know what to do with it, but I hope that I can promote with it. Everybody's super crunched for time, but we definitely want to promote. And there hasn't been anybody who's ever promoted in this company who thought, I have 10 extra hours in my day. What am I going to do with it? I guess I should promote. So just remember that everybody is crunched for time. And that's why we started this, is to work it around what we already have. And you can promote, but you have to be so focused. So what she says that she does, and I mean, I'm saying it all from her perspective, but this is what I've done. This is what everybody does. You have a list. I mean, it sounds really dumb and simple, but you literally have a list. You know what you need to do. And when you have time to work your business, that is what you do. Especially when I've promoted, I remember having a list, and I would get on, I would not look at anything else. I mean, I remember not even looking at the group pages, anything. If I needed to get stuff done and I only had 20 minutes to do it or an hour to do it, then I would have my list and I would get it done as fast as possible in the morning or whenever I could, as soon as possible, so that then I had my list done, and then anything else that you do throughout the day is just kind of icing on your cake. And she actually she went over exactly what she does. And I already mentioned she enrolled 35 people last month, so obviously she kind of knows what she's doing. So I want to just at least mention kind of what she does, because I feel like a lot of them are really good tips. And so she has 11 things, and she does them every single day for her business. And the first one is one that some of you guys would benefit from, is her top 10. So even if you only have 10 people, that's fine. Or if you have, like Tina just said, she has like 44 people. Even if it's a top 2, what she does, so she has like hundreds of thousands of people probably on her team by now, but she has a top 10. And then she lets them choose 3 people, and she really interacts with them that day and makes those 3 people feel special. So say that your 10 people or one of your people has 3 or 4 people under them, then you would kind of interact with them. So either post on their page, say, oh my gosh, I hope you're having a great day, you're doing awesome, like you're a rock star, whatever, or messaging them just to, you know, say, hey, how are you doing? And I feel like that's really, really important as a leader. So once you start building, once you start having people signing other people that you don't know, I feel like that's an amazing thing to be doing for your business, is just getting to know and recognizing the people that are underneath you. And so, like I said, even if you only have one distributor right now and maybe they've signed a couple of people, you know, just really get to know those people too. You can definitely emulate people, even if you don't have I don't have hundreds of thousands of people under me either. But you can still start kind of emulating people that you want to be like, if that's something that you want to do. The other thing that she does is she kind of brags on somebody every single day on her page, on her Facebook page, so that people can just see that people are doing awesome on her team. And she calls it a leader of the day. But again, even if you only have a couple of people, just call out something that they're doing awesome. Like, wow, I see that you're really working your business. I'm so thankful to be doing this with you. And then another thing that she does is she always wishes every single person happy birthday on her, whenever it says wish these people happy birthday. So that then that's one more way that she's interacting with people on Facebook without having to scroll and find people, because then she says that then those people, if you do that every single day for 365 days, and that means that at least every single person will have seen your post for a couple of days. So, because she definitely has 5,000 friends. And then, of course, she posts on Facebook. And then another thing that she does that I thought was really interesting that I've never really thought about doing on a daily basis is pulling all of her credit card declines. So if you start having a lot of customers underneath you, and other people are signing up customers, it's always nice to know if a credit card declines, because that means that that's volume that, especially if you're promoting, you might be depending on that, and then you might not realize that it's not there if you don't realize that the credit card declined. And the sooner you figure that out, then the sooner you can go ahead and ask people to either rerun their card or, oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? Or, if they got a new card, you can help them put that in. And you have access to every single person's like phone number and email, so you can always reach out to them. Of course, if the distributor is still going strong, have them reach out to them. But if they're not, you can still reach out to that person and just say, hey, I'm here to help you too. Let me know if you want me to help you get a new credit card on file. Okay, so that is a lot of her, kind of things that I thought, wow, I don't do that on a daily basis. I do other things on a daily basis. Most of what I do is I try to message people, at least 5 new people per day. I post on Facebook at least 3 times per day. And I know that that's a lot less than some people. Like I know Stephanie posts more, but mine is just, that's what I've gotten up to. And I'm working on getting it up to 6. But I post at least 3 times per day. And I try to do like 2 about the business, 1 personal at least. And then I try to follow up with people. But like we all kind of talked about follow up Friday, a lot of people like to follow up on Friday because people get paid on Friday. So I like to do my follow-ups on Thursdays and Fridays. So I usually am trying to kind of message new people most of the days, and then do a lot of my follow-ups on Thursdays and Fridays. And then one other point about promoting, and I've had to do this a lot, is you have to kind of put your blinders on, because some people might be going faster than you, and some people might even be going slower than you, and you don't want either one of those things to influence you unless it's influence you for the good. But still, it doesn't really benefit you. What you want to do is just focus on your business. What's going on in your business, and how can you make it better? And I've gotten really caught up, especially people who, started at the same time as me, and I've seen them like promote past me. It's really, that can get tough. But I have to just focus on my business and focus on what's going on in my business. So even if you're just starting, don't get caught up in, oh my gosh, that person's ambassador, I can never do that. That's not true. You will be there if that's what you want to be. So never, like, this is another kind of catchphrase that people usually use, is never compare somebody's chapter 11 or chapter whatever 23 to your chapter 1. You're just starting. Okay. So you can go anywhere that you want with this business. Okay. And then, one other tip that she had in her video, her video about how she's been so successful and how she's kept her momentum up at all times through all months in her business so far, is that she almost always does live videos each day, and even multiple times per day. And people have pointed that out too, because she gets so many more followers that way too. So you're following people, you're friending people, but it also really benefits you whenever people start following you. And also people really see the, how you feel about what you're posting. So if you're doing a Fat Fighter demo or talking about the wraps, people are going to see how you feel about that. Or if you're talking about how you just made your first $100 bonus and you're going to go buy groceries for your family or fill up your gas tank or whatever it might be, people are going to see the emotion behind that instead of having to read about it. So, and you can also, do a post about it, but also go live about it. And I want to be so much better about that. I am super shy. So even this is, I feel fine because you guys are like my people. But going live on Facebook still really scares the bejesus out of me. So I'm trying to get a lot better about it, but she does not, that doesn't bother her at all. So she goes live all of the time.
Well, and Shanna, I saw on one of the leader pages too, like not all her live videos are about the business either. Like apparently she had like one of hers go completely viral. Like she like did a live video of like her birth, like one of her kids' birth or something. She's like, I guess she's kind of like a really like
out there.
She's like a super like outgoing kind of, she'll do anything. Like, so people will like, kind of dare her to go do something and she'll like live video it, like going and doing these little silly, like outgoing. And it's okay to like not be that, because Shanna and I are obviously not that personality type, but I didn't want you to think that all the live videos have to be about the business either.
Right. I see a lot of you guys actually going live, and it's not, it's like, just about what you're doing that day, and that's perfect. And even if you're not, it's okay. I'm just saying that that's a really good suggestion if that's something that you do feel comfortable with, because it's really helped a lot of people's businesses. But like Stephanie and I mean, obviously we're not building our businesses exactly like that.
But I will say that whenever I go live, because I don't go live as often as I would like to either, and whenever I do go live, I have way more interaction on those posts than like if I just post a picture.
Mm-hmm.
So, like,
and then people can like look at it later and it seems like it pops up a lot. And if they're following you, it will pop up, like you guys have seen, in your notifications. And if you post a random thing, that's not going to pop up in somebody's notifications. Yes. So Facebook they're trying to get away from people copying and pasting. They love the idea of people being totally original, having original ideas, and it not being all like forwards and shares and things like that. So that's why they give a lot of attention to live videos. And then the other thing that she does that has really helped her have more interaction is she always asks people to share her videos. So especially if people start liking your videos and they start, getting on them more, she always asks people, hey, share my videos. And then that will get you more likes, more comments, more followers, a more audience, just that. And you can ask that on the video, which is really nice. I mean, almost always, if somebody shares your posts, maybe back in the day that used to help you out, but now it really doesn't. People do not see shared posts, but shared videos, yes, people will see that, because then Facebook basically, kind of like what Stephanie was saying, thinks it's going viral. Like they think, oh my gosh, people are really interested in this, let's show it to them. So it's a really interesting dynamic. Videos definitely go further. They're a bigger bang for your buck for sure than posts. So my biggest thing, honestly, is I hardly ever wear makeup and take a shower. And I usually have kids running all around me. So I'm always like, wow, I wish that I had taken a shower today and maybe put on some makeup and then I could go live. So that's what I really need. I basically just need to like start taking care of myself a little bit more.
Or you can just like go and binge watch like 50 Jade Hooper videos and just get over yourself, because she's never showered and never has makeup on, and her hair is like always like this, like while she's doing her videos.
And she always gets like right up in the camera. She's like,
yeah, and like she never is like too proud to just like get on and like do a video. So
I know. That's what I need to.
Like
I am so good. Okay, so Stephanie, what do you have about, actually promoting what your life has looked like whenever you've been?
Yeah, I mean, I think mine, like a lot of my same things are obviously the same as yours. And like, I think I was actually writing down your like things from Christina Watts, because those were really great. Yeah, I mean, I think probably the biggest thing with promoting, like you said, you have to at least get your chart there. So like make your first and foremost goal, and to back step, you have to commit. So like the months that I knew I was promoting, so when I went diamond on New Year's Eve, so December 31st, two and a half years ago, I guess. So it was 2014. And they had announced, I think November 1st, that they were bringing back the good bonuses only until the end of December. So we kind of knew we had 2 months to get them. And at the time, I was Ruby. I think I was like almost Emerald. And I was like, I'm going diamond. But because I had some people who were working with me, and because, my team was excited, I was like, maybe I could go double diamond. So my kind of initial goal was to be diamond by the end of November and then double diamond at New Year's. And I like fully committed to that. I was working my business every single day. Like, I mean, I'm trying to think back to what I did. I was in the beginning, especially, I worked my business a lot just by getting together with old friends, like reaching out to anyone who was local that I went to like college with or high school with. I was messaging them, asking if they wanted to get together for a play date with their kids, just to like rekindle a, friendship. I didn't even always bring up the business with those people. I would just say like, oh, it'd be so fun to catch up. But I literally had a breakfast or a coffee date or a play date scheduled every single day of the week, sometimes twice a day. And it was exhausting, you guys. I had a 5-month-old at the time, and also a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. Like I had little ones at home. I was exhausted. But we did it. We made it fun. Like we were doing play dates and stuff, but then I would always weave the business into it. But I was fully committed. So I think that, like Shanna said, like that's the biggest step, is just you have to believe that you can do it, and you have to commit to doing it. So I don't set goals like that for myself and then not get them. Like I'm just kind of I'm a perfectionist. I don't say I'm going to go diamond. And like I said, I was going for double diamond. I don't say those things lightly. Like I knew when I said that it was going to be crazy hard, and then it was going to take a lot of work, but I knew the payoff was going to be huge at the time. Like I would have gotten like $40,000 in, or no, they weren't double. I would have gotten like $25,000 or $30,000 in bonuses had I gone double diamond. So I was like, what could that money do for our family? I just remember being like, oh my gosh, like I have to get it. I have to, like, I just was so committed because I knew what it could do for my family. So I worked November and December like crazy. I was reaching out to friends, asking them to host parties for me. I was, just like rekindling any friendships I could and talking to people and just putting myself out there. That was also when the very first time that I started advertising a little bit on Facebook, and I mean like really, really a little bit. And that sort of just helped me fill the gap. There were maybe a handful of distributor spots left that weren't filled in on my diamond chart. And so like I just couldn't get any of my friends to commit in that window of time, like in December. And so I started advertising on Facebook. So I was starting to work social media more. I remember like, I would put my kids at the kitchen table and have like coloring books. And then if they got bored of coloring, I might put like a little like 15-minute Baby Einstein video on or something. And I was making phone calls to these people that were commenting on my posts on Facebook about ordering the wraps. Like I remember just feeling so out of my comfort zone. Like I don't really like talking on the phone anyway. I'm just such like an introvert. Like I just would much prefer texting or messaging. And so I was getting on the phone with all these people that I'd never met before and signing them up and like customers, distributor, everything. And so I was doing it just in the middle of our crazy days. Like I would have my kids playing in their bedroom and I would step outside the door and be peeking in at them playing while I was like on the phone with a potential distributor telling them about the business or something like that. So it was not easy, but it totally worked. And I didn't feel like I was, you know, not being like a good parent. I was not quite as present probably during those like 6 weeks or so. But so long story short, just I think commitment is key, but then actually following through on that and doing the steps that need to happen to make it happen. But then towards the end of December, I think it ended up making more sense for me just to go diamond. So I do think you should always go for like the bigger, like go big, go big or go home. Like I think multiple times Brian has said like shoot for the moon, and you know what's the worst thing that can happen? You're going to land in the stars. So like I totally shot for double diamond. I think I was like almost charted to double diamond at the end of December, but I was still too far away. So I ended up going diamond, which was amazing, you know, and I was putting in last minute orders on New Year's Eve. Like it was craziness. And then when conference came around and they announced bonuses again and they doubled them, I was that much closer to the double diamond bonus because I had already been working so hard all of November and December, that, you know, your momentum really does pay off. So, and two, like after New Year's, so like in January, I was obviously still working my business hard, but it was nothing like it had been in December and like November, because it wasn't a promoting month. So just know that it's short-lived. You will have to push really hard and commit to it, but it's totally worth it. And, you know, you're not going to be like pushing that hard forever. It's just, you have to get there, and it's so much easier to maintain than it is to like get yourself there. As for like daily tasks and things, I mean, I think most of them were said already. I think private message, like PMing or direct messaging people on Facebook has been my most fruitful income producing activity. And I mean, most days I shoot for getting about 100 messages out. That's not necessarily new people. Some of them are. It's probably like a third new and then probably 2/3 following up with people. I keep track of everyone I talk to every single day. So when I kind of run out of people to talk to, I might go back and find like my packet from July or August or September, and I'll go all the way back and start messaging all those people again, because I think it's easy to forget who we've even talked to. Engaging on Facebook, I think, is huge. So sometimes people don't even answer our personal messages, but if you are going and commenting on their posts, they start seeing your posts more and they feel like you care about them, more than maybe sometimes just a stock like copy and pasted private message would do for them. So make sure that you're commenting on people's pictures and engaging with them on Facebook, even more than just like liking their pictures, actually taking the time to comment on them. Obviously, income producing activities are like having parties and doing vendor events and blitzing. But with blitzing, I always would say it's only going to be an income producing activity really if you're getting their contact information when you leave them, because otherwise I mean, of all the Blitz cards I've ever just like left places or handed someone and didn't get their contact information, I don't think I've even ever had one person contact me back. It's only been when I get their information and I follow up with them. And then they're usually really interested, but they were probably just a little bit too shy to call my phone number or email me or something for information. So I think those were the main things that I had thought of. But I think it's just committing. You have to just know in your heart you can do it and that you're going to do it and just go for it. Like, I mean, that's where kind of you do need some cheerleaders in your court. So make sure you're like your significant others on board. Make sure your husband or whoever is kind of coaching you along, because I know like the month I promoted, we had a lot of frozen pizzas and the laundry kind of piled up a bit, and the house was certainly not as clean as it usually was. And some of that's just give and take, you know, hey, I'm getting a $10,000 bonus and we're having frozen pizza for like 3 nights every week. I think that's an okay payoff, because next month we'll eat really healthy again. So just make sure that you have support. Make sure maybe if you have like a grandma in town or somebody that maybe they could help out with the kids a couple of days a week, just for a couple hours, like 1 hour here or there, like you can get so much done in 1 hour or 2 hours. So start kind of thinking about those things too.
I wanted to add one thing. I mean, you already said it, but it's not just us saying, you know, it's going to be short bursts for your business basically to get you to the top. Or it could, like some people choose to basically do one long burst and just go straight to the top. But we're talking about like if you want to go diamond, you know, like for those couple of months that you're like, I am doing this, it's going to be a burst of basically a lot more energy. And you just are trying to drive that momentum. But anything that you look at as business in general, but network marketing especially, if you go and look at any books about it or any big guru trainings or anything like that, they're always going to talk about that. And that's just what it takes. So if you're wanting to keep it at a pretty steady, like hobby pace, of just like maybe a couple $100s a month, which is what a lot of us signed up for, then you really can just keep it to your like 15 minutes per day, you know, getting on your online parties and doing that. But if you're like, I want that $10,000 bonus, I want that $2,000 a month paycheck or more, then that's whenever you need these kind of like energy bursts, like these momentum bursts. And then eventually the idea is, if you do them enough and get to the top or beyond that, then you can go back to basically your 15 minutes per day and be making 40 grand per month or more by going back to basically your hobby time. So you basically do a big burst to get yourself the momentum, and then you just keep your momentum by really doing it truly, truly, truly in your spare time. So that's why we're talking about that. It's not to be like, you have to do this. Like, it's your business, but at the same time, just realistically, if that's what you're really wanting to do, just know that it will be, you know, kind of these bursts. Or like I said, like Christina Watts, I mean, she's been doing a full-blown 2-year burst, but she's probably going to be Black Diamond in 3 or 4 years. I mean, 3 or 4 years total in her business, not 3 or 4 more years, which is crazy. I've been doing this for 4 years almost, and I'm triple diamond. So, okay, and Tina, I want to answer your question real quick because this is going super long, and then we probably need to get off. She said, should you always do the diamond chart first for every single person that you're training in your downline? And my answer is going to be no. I think that you should just know who you're working with. And if you see somebody like, Tina, you have Amanda who seems super excited, I think you should pull that out with her and be like, this is where you're going, girl, because this is where she's going. But if you have somebody who's totally timid, doesn't want to have a party, doesn't want to, you know, can't sign their first 2 customers, then no, probably not. So just like any training, I think that you just have to know who you're training. And I don't think that any training can really be just blanketed. Some of it can be, I guess, but usually whenever you're mentoring somebody, I think you need to work with the individual. So in like whenever you very first started, I would have pulled out the diamond chart with you. I don't think you would have been scared. I would, like a lot. I don't think Stephanie would have been. She might have been.
I totally would have been
a little bit.
I mean, I think that, yeah, I would just be careful because I think that they have to be kind of well on their way to Ruby before you pull out this like really big chart, because I don't think I would have even believed I could have gotten to Ruby. And then when things kind of were taking off and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm almost Ruby and now I am going, then like there's something about going Ruby that like you just like all of a sudden you just know, like I can do it. I believe in this company. And then like no matter what chart you would have put in front of me at that point, I would have been like, yes, I can do that. Because once you go Ruby, I think you just feel like you can do anything.
But like I never printed out my Ruby chart. I only printed my diamond chart. So I feel like it just totally, like if you find out that somebody printed out their diamond chart and they're super excited about going diamond, I think you should be like, okay, let's do that. So I don't think you should like hold somebody back to just Ruby, but I don't think that you should push somebody to diamond who's like, I don't even know if I can get one customer. So I think you just figure out who you're working with, basically. And I think it's going to be a rare, not everyday person that prints out their diamond chart. I was just really excited. Okay, so I'm sorry that went a lot longer. Hopefully this was slightly helpful, because honestly, every single one of you guys and every single person who's listening to the recording can promote and will promote. It only takes you doing it. And we have a lot of really exciting things coming up. There's already super exciting things going on all the time. I mean, all these promotions, the exfoliating peel being free today, I mean, that's insane. There's so many more things going on than ever in my entire career. So taking advantage of those things, and then there's so many more things that are going to be coming up with conference. So they put that there for us to be successful. They're not doing that for their own fun. So take advantage of those and just be super excited going into January and conference and everything like that. Okay. I'm going to stop the recording, and it was really good.